Okay everybody, so my name is Jen and welcome back to Law Hero. This is my channel where I discuss normally FE1 stuff and QLTT, anything basically law based, or doing legal exams in Ireland, or training to be a solicitor in Ireland. I'm your gal for all of that. But today is a requested video around exam stress. Now, please understand that everybody has their own way of dealing with exams, and my opinion isn't necessarily the right fit for you, but it's just how I approach any type of performance-based requirement. And what I mean by that is, for example, public speaking, triathlon, or I have to go to a job interview or some kind of an exam. It's the same method I use time and time again to try and get over those things. Now, before I knew how to deal with all of this stuff, I would suffer from chronic anxiety because I was so attached to the future outcome. I wasn't able to see basically the wood from the trees. I was catastrophizing. I was thinking of the worst case scenario, and invariably self-sabotaging because I was looking for certainty. And it's this type of certainty and it's this type of attachment to a certain outcome is what causes anxiety. So for example, if you have your heart set on something and it doesn't work out, it makes the fallout all the more heightened because you haven't made provision in your brain for an alternate outcome. And that is why at the moment COVID-19 is such a source of dis-ease for people, because of the lack of certainty. And the reason, and I'm sure you all know this, is because humanity thrives on certainty. We need to be sure of social inclusion. We're social animals, so we need to be able to bank on certain facts so that we remain in the social circles we're in and we're not kicked out. And you know, a lot of the time when we're striving for these goals, they're wrapped up in our ego and our sense of self and how we are portrayed to others, and we use that to become part of society. And then what happens is, when we feel like we won't achieve a goal or we haven't achieved a goal, it's not just the goal itself we've lost, but actually we've lost part of ourselves, because we had tied up our identity in that outcome. And therefore, if our identity and the outcome are at a disadvantage, that means we are disadvantaged in society, which means that we could be kicked out of our tribe or whichever social constructs we're included in. So this is why you can spiral out of control very quickly when things don't go your way. And just think of a child who doesn't get what they want. And with something as simple as the FE1, I constantly have people writing to me telling me that they cannot sleep with the anxiety, that the morning of the exam, they just decide not to sit it because they feel this overwhelm. And that's the word a lot of people use, is they're overwhelmed by what they have to do. And when you strip it all back and you actually look at what you have to do, and look, I'm speaking here without any script, I'm just speaking to you like I would a friend. This is by no means scientific. There is no method to my madness. This is just my experience and my knowledge of this exam and the people who've sat it. When you strip it back, the FE1 is just an exam. It's a test of knowledge, okay? It's a test. It's a test for you to be accepted into a profession, okay? So let's take another step back from that again. What is the profession? That is the legal profession, okay? Historically and traditionally, in Ireland and in other countries, indeed in other countries. In fact, I would argue globally, there is a belief system around the profession of law, and that is that it is elite, that it includes people who are more knowledgeable than the people on the street, and that if you are accepted into the legal profession, which is a social community, it's a social construct, that you will somehow elevate to great heights, that you will have income certainty, and that you will have some sort of certain sense of self in society. So I believe a lot of the time trainees and people who sit the FE1, it's not the exam in itself that they are overwhelmed by. They are overwhelmed by the concept of being rejected from a social construct. And I know this is deep, this is deep, but I had to just share this thought today. When I was having it, I was like, why are we all so wrapped up in this poxy exam? Because that's what it is, it's poxy. It's learning stuff off and regurgitating it, tailoring it to problem questions and essay questions set by some randomer who's sitting in Trinity or in UIG. It's so silly when you actually think about it. But what's not silly are people's reaction to this exam. The other thing as well is we all go around with this emperor's new clothes mentality that, oh, I'm the only one who feels like this. I'm so weak. I'm so vulnerable. Look at everybody else. They're able to pull through exams. Why can't I pull through exams? What's wrong with me? Blah, 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 blah. We do this self-flagellation, I call it. And basically, that is, I hate to say it, but it's more prevalent in my female listeners. The males suffer from it to an extent, but not to the same extent that we women do. And I am not a raging feminist, and I am not women are better than men or anything like this. It's actually an emotional thing. Women's emotional capacity is much, much larger. We feel more than men do, and we bond more with certain ideals than they do. And this has both downsides and upsides for men and women, but unfortunately I've seen in my helping of FE1 students that it is my female listeners who seem to struggle a little bit more with the whole conceptualization of becoming a lawyer. But then they're the ones who thrive actually once in the workplace. Okay, so look, I've gone on and on and on, and that's what I tend to do because I am truly fascinated by psychology, philosophy and law. And the FE1 is a great reflection of that, I think, when all these things come together. So a few practical tips. Okay, I've already alluded to one already, and that is disassociation from the outcome. It's a very common piece of advice that you'll find in sports psychology and any type of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what people use to try and overcome bad habits. Okay, and you're like, okay Jen, how do I just stop caring about whether I pass or fail this exam? And that's exactly it. You have to see your passing or failing as something arbitrary. It's not something for you to think about. The only thing you can control are your controllables, and that is getting yourself the notes, giving yourself time to digest it, being really still and calm. Once that wave washes up inside you, the self-doubt and the fear, that you understand it is a biological, hardwired human response to being rejected from social circles. Your body is millions of years old. It does not know it's studying for FE1s. It is just reacting like it would to being rejected from the tribe back in the Stone Age. You just need to understand that your body is doing what it's supposed to do. It's reacting in the correct manner to a threat. So your brain has told your body, there's the FE1 is coming, this is a threat. Then the body washes with this fear, the fight or flight, where you'll either run or you'll fight. And the FE1 is the opportunity to fight, in my opinion. If you run from it, you are running from a legal career, which I know most of you don't want to do. So yeah, my first tip is to disassociate from the outcome. Stop worrying about the pass or fail, completely put it out of your mind. Even so, put the exam day out of your mind and focus solely on studying, understanding, get extremely comfortable with the concepts, watch my videos, read my ebooks, write to me if you have to, become immersed in it and really feel, like we say this in sport as well, like we say in triathlon, feel the pedal stroke, put your hand in the water and feel your feet on the ground when you run. It's the exact same in the FE1. When you're learning a case, ask yourself, why did Jen put this case into the ebook? Why do we care? Is it a case I can use to back up my arguments? What is the point of tort? What is the point of contract? Why is there constitutional law? You have to keep asking yourself why and get very, very comfortable with the concepts. Okay? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to practice meditation away from the books, away from everything else. Go deep inside yourself and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I anxious about this? Actually, the fact that I'm anxious about it is a good thing because it means that I care, and it means that I want this, and it means that I have passion for something, and it means that when I go to an interview, I can look the interviewer in the eye and say, like, I'm born to do this. I know it sounds really corny, but why would I put myself through this if I didn't want it? And they'll be able to feel, people will be able to feel your passion. When you actually have passion, people will always feel it. You can't deny it. It's like something comes from, it's inherent, it comes from within. But meditate and ask yourself, okay, am I studying right? Are things going my way? What isn't going my way? What's bothering me? Who's annoying me? Why can't I focus? Is it the phone? Like, ask yourself, am I distracted by social media? Do I maybe need to turn social media off? Is my diet correct? Am I ingesting too many stimulants? Is there too much coffee involved? Learn to go inside and know what your triggers are. Do I study better in the morning time? Do I study better in the evening? Am I living at home at the moment? Are the people around me contributing to my success, or are they pulling me down? Do I need to do a bit of sport during the day because I'm starting to get very agitated? I'm putting on weight. I'm starting to feel bad about my body image. All of these things, meditate on them. Take the time during the day to sit like I'm sitting right now, cup of tea, and I will sit and stare into space for 15 minutes and figure things out. My final tip is to go with the flow. And I've learned this through my study of Taoism. When I worked for some Chinese people, I was given a copy of the Tao Te Ching. I would really recommend you read it. And the Tao is basically an invisible force. You don't really need to worry about it. But if you ever heard the nursery rhyme, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That encapsulates to me the meaning of life. Row your own boat. This is your body. This is your journey. You're on your own. You need to know your why. Gently down the stream means that you don't push against massive resistance. You go with the flow. Merrily, 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 do it with a smile on your face, and life is but a dream. What is this life? At the end of the day, as Stephen Hawking said, we're just specks of dust on a big rock. Don't take life too seriously. I mean, you're not going to die. It's just an exam. So just take a step back and realize that you need to go with the flow. So I've waffled on for ages. I hope that helps some of you. I'm quite a philosophical person, so this is very much in my comfort zone. However, it took me many, many years to get to this spot. I wish I had some of this insight years ago when I suffered from anxiety before exams. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Best of luck with your exams.